What's up, guys? Hey, Clint Coons here, and in this video, we're going to talk about choosing the proper business address for your rental real estate limited liability company. All right, so what does this have to do with? It has to do with setting up your LLC and trying to figure out what address should you put on there. Now, I hadn't thought about cutting a video on this, but I received several comments on my other videos where people kept asking, well, if I set up an LLC and I file those articles of organization with the state, Clint, what address do I list as my business address? Great question. So let's hit on that. So remember, when you're going to set up a limited liability company, you have to file what are called articles of organization with the Secretary of State. And typically, they're going to ask for, of course, the business name that you're coming up with. They're going to ask for a registered agent. I'll just put RA there. So that's the person that accepts service of process if someone is suing your entity or if the state needs to get a hold of you for your renewals. Typically, this should not be you. You should use a third-party service. Anderson provides that service. We're a registered agent in 50 states. So we do that for our clients. And the reason why is that if someone wants to start a lawsuit against you, you don't want them showing up at your house, right? That's a big thing. The second thing is that for a registered agent, you have to have a physical address where there is someone that is located there if it's at a business address during business hours. Otherwise, if you don't have that, then it has to be your home address. So again, it allows people to track you, to know where you live. So that's why you should use a third party. Now, the other thing you're going to have to list out now is going to be your business address. Okay. So let's say this is an LLC that I'm setting up for this rental property. The property is at 10345 Apple Lane. Okay, so that's the physical address of the property itself. Now, I've seen a number of real estate investors who are doing this that will actually put this address as their business address for their limited liability company. And you don't want to do that. And here's why. Because when you have a business address that's filed with the Secretary of State on your entity, number one, if people are looking at that, right, businesses, and they're trying to determine that, maybe they put it into their system, this address, and they want to reach out to you and send you information. Who's that information going to go to? You? No, it's going to go to your tenants. And what are your tenants going to do? They're going to get that and say, what is this, Froggy Bottom Limited Liability Company? Oh, this is just junk mail. And they're going to toss it. They're not going to forward it on to you. So you're going to miss out on stuff. The other problem could be when you go in to open up your bank account, the bank looks and they see this address here and they set up your account with this address. And now your statements are going to your tenants. Bad decision there. You don't want to use your rental property address as your business address. So then what are my other options? Well, I've seen people do this. They use a home address. Okay. Now, you're using your home address. We're back to this problem I said about being your own registered agent. People know where you live. And I really don't want my home address on my LLC. I'd prefer if people don't know where I live, or if they want to find me, they have to do a lot of searching. Now, if I'm using an anonymity strategy where I'm trying to protect my identity, or maybe the state doesn't collect any information as far as who the members or managers are, and you think, well, this is great, I've got an LLC, I don't have to disclose that I'm a member or manager because the information is not being collected. Well, you just blew that strategy because you put your home address on there. So I would shy away from using my home address. Now you got a P.O. box. Okay, so that's another option you could consider, setting it up with a P.O. box. That's probably the better way to go then. So don't use your property address, don't use a home address. Go out there and set up a P.O. box for your business entity. Now, the P.O. box, or you could use like a UPS store, which doesn't give you a P.O. box, but gives you a suite number, a PMB is what those are. Either way, if anybody looks, they're going to know that you're using that type of address. Now, when you go down that road and you use those things, either one of these, keep in mind that when you go to open up your bank account for this limited liability company, this will typically not fly. It will not work for you to get a bank account open. So when you're opening up your bank account, you're going to have to go back and you're going to have to give them your home address for your business entity. So don't let that deter you from using this, because when you say to yourself, well, my banker won't accept it. It doesn't matter if your banker won't accept it. Give them your home address to get your account open. In fact, I want my statements coming to my home address. Let them come to you. Does it lessen your liability protection of the LLC? Not at all. I've set up plenty of LLCs for my own investing. When I open up the limited liability company, let's say it's in North Carolina or it's in Texas. What address do you want to use? I give my local address right here because I'm opening the account here in Washington for a foreign entity. There's no problem doing that. So setting these things up, when you're setting up your LLC, what you need to avoid is don't use your property address, don't use your home address. Set up a service that will provide you an address. If you're Anderson, we've been providing addresses for our clients for 20 years, where we actually give them either a Las Vegas or a Wyoming address for their entities that are filed in Washington, Oregon, California, Ohio, New Mexico. It doesn't matter. We use an out-of-state address for them. And the reason we do that is to make it even more complicated for someone to try to track down who the actual owner is of the entity. I mean, think about this. You got a Washington LLC with a Nevada address. What is the assumption somebody might draw from that? Oh, the owner of that property or that LLC lives in Nevada, when in fact they're a Washington resident. So take it from there. Choosing the property addresses, it's an important aspect of creating your limited liability company. You just want to make sure that you're setting it up so it doesn't go to your tenants or it's traced back to you. Hey guys, if you got any questions on this, which I don't see there being that many questions, put them down there. I'll be sure to get to them. And that like button, if you're not yet a subscriber, the like and the subscribe button, you better be pounding those. I'd appreciate it. Take care.